welcome to my channel, Crunchy Mary Quite Contrary, where my goal is to inform you guys of the truth, inspire you to make small changes in your life, and also show you how to imagine health taken into your own hands. Today's video is a very exciting video. I'm going to show you guys my bone broth recipe. It's gonna be a good one, you guys, so be excited. So there has been a lot of hype around bone broth over the last, I don't know, maybe 5 years. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I see something in the health world that pops up and has a whole bunch of hype and it's really popular, I always look into it because I want to know if it's founded on truth, if it actually can help heal, or if it's just kind of something that's getting hyped up and maybe doesn't have, the backbone, or it doesn't have the actual healing properties that I'm looking for that make it worth it to either make or to buy. So I did a lot of research into bone broth, and I found a lot of really cool things. So first of all, bone broth has been used for its healing properties for centuries and all over the world, you guys. This dates back a long time ago, ancient history. So bone broth, basically what you're doing is you're taking chicken bones and you're boiling / simmering them down for a very long, not very long, but a long period of time. And so all of the bones and the carcass of the chicken actually release all of their nutrients, which gets absorbed into the water, and it creates a broth. So bone broth has a lot of really, really awesome nutrients and minerals and all kinds of really good stuff in it. It's got the collagen, which is so good for you. And when you're drinking it in broth form, it's even better because it just goes straight in there in its most natural form. And it also has really important things like glutamine, which is very important, and glycine, which is very important. Glutamine is a building block of protein that actually is super, super important for your gut health and for your immune system. So your immune system needs glutamine desperately to function properly, and so does your gut. So getting glutamine from these natural sources like bone broth actually help you to build your immune system really, really well so that it's super strong, and also helps if you have any gut problems going on like I do. If you need healing in your gut, glutamine through bone broth is amazing. So what can bone broth actually do? It's kind of crazy. It's been touted to heal things like asthma and arthritis and allergies. Yes, those seasonal allergies that nothing seems to help. Guys, bone broth apparently is great for them. And like I said, healing the gut. So if you have leaky gut, if you have IBS, this will reinforce the lining of your digestive system so that your digestive system is stronger and less able to be broken down. We don't want our digestive systems to break down, obviously. It's also amazing for detox though. So our bodies are constantly being inundated with all of these different toxins and heavy metals from the world around us. Heavy metals are in our water, also things like pesticides and herbicides on your food. We try to eat organic as much as we can, but all growing up, I did not eat organic food. And so that has caused heavy metal toxicity in my body, which is causing problems all over the place. Also just pollutants in your air. If you live in a city, there's lots of pollution, all of that gets absorbed into your body. So we should be able to detox naturally. However, if our body doesn't have the tools that it needs to detox, then we can't detox as well as we should. So doing things to help detox can be very beneficial. Bone broth is one of those things that I've added into my daily health regimen to detox the body, to heal my gut, to help with all of these autoimmune type things. So let's talk about leaky gut for a second, because actually a lot of people in today's world have leaky gut, and I happen to have leaky gut as well. I believe my kids do. So leaky gut. Leaky gut is caused when the body starts to, especially with foods that you eat a lot. So for me, this happened with gluten and dairy. It started to grind away at the lining of your intestines and your digestive system, because your digestive system and your intestinal lining wasn't very strong until holes were actually punctured in the lining of your system. And when the holes were punctured, then these proteins from the food, undigested food, actually leak out and start to absorb into your bloodstream. So for me, the big culprits were gluten and dairy, which were breaking through the cell lining and starting to leak out into my bloodstream. So then what your body does is it senses these proteins that are not supposed to be in the bloodstream, right? Undigested food isn't supposed to be like anywhere in your body except the digestive system. And so it starts to create antibodies against these proteins so that your body can protect itself from them, because your body doesn't know what it is. It just knows that it's a protein that's not supposed to be there. So after your body creates these antibodies, it attacks the proteins, but then it also attacks the digestive system itself, because that's where the proteins are coming from. So the body attacks your digestive system and actually keeps you from being able to heal because of these antibodies that are working, overtime to get these proteins out. It's a cycle, it's a never-ending cycle, and it's no good. So the first thing you have to do is you have to heal those tears and those holes in your gut lining. And one of the best ways to do that is with glutamine or bone broth. So the bone broth goes in, and the collagen, which is so good for your skin and helping your cells to turn over faster, bone broth is able to do that. So you drink the bone broth, it goes in, and it starts patching up all of those places in your gut that are causing problems. So anyways, there's a lot of really awesome benefits to bone broth, so I would highly recommend drinking it. Now, if you're like me, you went to the grocery store, you went to the broth section, you found bone broth, and you were like, oh my word, $5 or $6 for a container this big of bone broth? Like, you've got to be kidding me. So I was like, no, there's gotta be a way for me to make this myself. So sure enough, I looked it up on the internet, and it's so easy. Anyways, now I'm gonna go into telling you how I make bone broth. First, what you have to do is collect chicken bones or chicken carcasses. So what we did is we actually have stopped buying like chicken breasts, chicken thighs, buying like pieces of chicken, and now we only buy whole chickens. It saves us a lot of money that way. It makes it so that I can make bone broth. The benefits just are amazing. I'm kind of floored by how quickly I feel like my body is healing after adding this into my regimen. So you collect carcasses. I put them in like a 5-gallon Ziploc bag and just stick them in the freezer, and I just keep adding to that bag until it's full. Once it's about full, which is about 2 chicken carcasses for me, put all of the bones into the crock pot. Next, you roughly chop some vegetables. In my very first round, I added celery, and I just didn't love the flavor of the celery in the broth. I don't dislike celery, but it just was a little too much. So we're sticking to onions, garlic, and carrots. You just roughly chop it up, and then you take a whole clove of garlic. I just chop that right in half. You don't have to peel it. You don't have to take all the individual cloves off. Just do the whole head of garlic. So you throw all of those vegetables in with the bones, and then you cover it with water. Just barely cover the bones. So you don't want too much water, you guys, or it'll just be very watery broth. You want it to be really, really nice, thick broth at the end. So I cover my bones with water. Next, what you're gonna do is you wanna put in a little bit of vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is the best option for this, but what the vinegar does is it just helps extract more nutrients and minerals from the bones. So you can't really skimp out on the vinegar part. You can add anywhere up to 4 tablespoons. You will not taste the vinegar at all once the bone broth is done. I promise. I can't handle vinegars in broth. It's just disgusting. And I promise you won't taste it. So I use the max amount of 4 tablespoons. You can use less than that if you'd like, but it just helps really extract all of the goodness out and create a really nice thick broth. Then I put the lid on, I close it, and I stick it on high. You can leave it anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. I do the max at 24. I really want to get all of the nutrients and all of the minerals out of the bones and into the water. The longer you simmer, the better. So I leave this for 24 hours, and then you're good to go. When you come back to it 24 hours later, You open it up. Oh my goodness, you guys, first of all, it just smells awesome. I can't even, like, my husband's always like, what are you cooking? And I'm like, it's for me, sorry, it's just broth. So you open it up, it smells amazing, and then you just strain all of the bones and all of the vegetables out. You're not gonna leave the veggies in. The goal with bone broth is to you wanna get it as thick as possible. So hardcore people, which I am not quite there yet, but hardcore people will actually go to their local grocery store or their butcher and ask for chicken feet to put into their broth, because chicken feet are known for having, I mean, they have so much collagen on them. Obviously, they're cleaned, like, people don't eat all parts of the bird anymore, but really there's such goodness to be drawn from all parts of the bird. So they have all this collagen on their feet, and so if you put it in the bone broth, it actually, all of the collagen absorbs out of the chicken feet and into the broth and creates this beautiful, really thick, yummy broth. So that would be the ultimate, like, ultimately you want your broth to gel, like, really, you want it to be like gelatin consistency. I've only accomplished that one time, and I have no clue what I did differently to make it do that. But that's what you want, because that means there's a ton of collagen in your broth, and collagen, like I said, is so good for cell turnover. It's good for beautiful skin. It's good for detoxification of your body. So the goal is to get it as thick as possible. I just want you to know, if yours gels, don't panic. That's a great thing. Like, you've accomplished all of my dreams. Is it weird that my, like, biggest dream is to get gelled bone broth? Probably. But this is the level of crunchy that I have achieved, you guys, so we'll just go with it. I put them in mason jars. I let them sit on the counter until they cool so that they're not super hot going into the fridge. I don't want to risk this beautiful bone broth getting broken and spilled everywhere. So let it sit out till it cools a bit, and then you can just stick it in the fridge. That is really all it is. I drink this every day. I give it to my kids. My daughter was sick recently. I was like, there's no way she's gonna want this, but she actually asked for it. So what I do when I'm actually going to drink it is I pour it into a pot on the stove, and then I add seasoning. So I didn't put any seasonings in the crock pot with the bones and the vegetables and the water. So it definitely is gonna need some seasonings. I add a decent amount of salt. I usually add some pepper in there. You can add, you know, Italian seasonings, whatever you like. Some spice, if you want some cayenne pepper in there, paprika. Make it how you want it. And then just, you can either, like, eat it like soup if that's more comfortable for you, or I just drink it out of a mug. So when I made some for my daughter, I just put lots of salt in there, lots of pepper in there, and she actually, like I said, she just was asking for it, and I was like kind of shocked. I was like, this isn't what I would think a child would be asking for when they're sick, but she was asking for it, and it really helped. I mean, her stomach would be hurting and nauseous, and then she'd drink bone broth and she'd be like, I'm all better, I'm gonna run around. And I'm like, no, keep resting. So it really does work, and it does a really good job. And you can drink as much of it as you want. So we just sat down for our grocery, like writing out our grocery list, budgeting our grocery list, and we are getting a ton of whole chickens this month. Like, I think we ordered 9 for the month. So that's 2 a week plus an extra one in case I feel like more broth. So again, you really can't have too much of this stuff. It's super helpful for a whole host of things. And that's about it, you guys. It's super easy to do. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments and I will reply to them as soon as I learn how to do that. I should probably do that. I don't know how to reply to comments yet. So I'll figure that out. But again, this is really great for detox. My next video is going to be a detox video where I'm walking you through all of the things that I'm doing right now to help detox my body of toxins and heavy metals and all that sort of thing. And so I wanted to do this recipe beforehand so that you could come back and make the actual bone broth. So there you have it, you guys. Again, like I said, it's super easy, it's really yummy, and it's so good for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like these recipe videos. Be sure to like and subscribe, and if you want to be notified when a new video goes up, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Love you. Bye.